The Memorial Stadium, also commonly known by its previous name of the Memorial Ground, is a sports ground in Bristol, England, dedicated to the memory of local rugby union players of the city killed during the First World War. It is currently the home stadium of Bristol Rovers. From its foundation in 1921 until moving to Ashton Gate in 2014, the Memorial Ground was the home to Bristol Rugby. The stadium is also used for the rugby varsity between the city's two universities, University of the West of England and University of Bristol. In 2013, the stadium hosted the Rugby League World Cup Group D match between the Cook Islands and the USA, attracting a crowd of 7,247. Gloucester Rugby played Bath in September and Exeter in October 2015 in pre-season friendlies, whilst their home ground, Kingsholm Stadium, was being used for the Rugby World Cup being held in England. History. The site was created on an area of land called Buffalo Bill's Field, after Colonel William Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show was held there between September 28 and October 3, 1891. 2 years later, in September 1893, Cliftonor FC played on the site for the first time. During the First World War the site was converted into allotments, but after the war Buffalo Bill's Field was bought by Sir Francis Nicholas Cowlin and given to Bristol Rugby Club. In 1921 it became the Memorial Ground, home of Bristol Rugby Club, and was opened on September 24 that year by G.B. Britton, the Lord Mayor of Bristol, as a home for Bristol Rugby Club. Situated on Filton Avenue in Horfield, Bristol, it has developed significantly over the years. A massive crowd turned out to watch the first game ever to be held there against Cardiff, but did so from wooden terraces and stands. With the advent of leagues in the late 1980s, Bristol looked to develop the ground, replacing the old shed on the north side with a centenary stand to mark the club's 100th anniversary in 1988. The West Stand, an original feature of the ground, was demolished in 1995, having been condemned, and replaced. In 1996, Bristol Rovers moved in as tenants of Bristol Rugby Club, and then entered into joint ownership through the Memorial Stadium Company. This arrangement failed after just 2 years, as in 1998 the rugby club was relegated from the Premiership, and under the terms of the agreement Bristol Rovers were able to buy Bristol Rugby's share of the stadium for a nominal fee, a clause designed to protect either party should one or the other fall into financial difficulties. The rugby club became tenants in their original home. By 2005, the Memorial Stadium was hosting Bristol Rugby Club back in the Guinness Premiership, with Bristol Rovers continuing to compete in the lower levels of the Football League. A roof was added to the clubhouse terrace, and temporary stands at the south and southwest of the ground have brought capacity up to 11,916. Bristol Rugby were again relegated out of the Premiership in 2009 and have not yet returned. In February 2013, after months of speculation, Bristol Rugby announced that they would move and share a ground with Bristol City at the redeveloped Ashton Gate Stadium. The rugby club played their final game at the Mem on June 4, 2014, a championship playoff final second leg against London Welsh. There was no fairy tale ending for Bristol though, as London Welsh won the game 21-20 to condemn the side to a sixth straight season outside the Premiership. The ground has remained a focal point for the wider Bristol community, and a minute's silence is held annually at the closest game to Remembrance Sunday, while on November 11 a service of remembrance is held at the Memorial Gates with players and officials from both Bristol Rovers and Bristol Rugby attending the service each year. Stadium future. The Memorial Stadium Company proposed a wide-ranging £35 million refurbishment of the Memorial Stadium, bringing it up to an 18,500 all-seater capacity. On January 17, 2007, Bristol City Council granted permission for the stadium redevelopment. The new stadium would have included a 97-room hotel, 99 student flats, a restaurant, a convenience store, offices and a public gym. On August 17, 2007, it was announced that the stadium's redevelopment had been delayed and would commence in May 2008 and finish in December 2009. During this time period of reconstruction, Bristol Rovers would have ground shared with Cheltenham Town at Wadon Road, while Bristol Rugby would have played across the Severn Bridge, sharing Newport Gwent Dragons' Rodney Parade Ground. The Section 106 legal agreement, which was the main cause for the delay in the redevelopment, was finally signed on January 4, 2008, but more delays were encountered when on May 30, 2008 Rovers admitted that their preferred student accommodation providers had pulled out of the project, leaving the club to find an alternative company. This caused the redevelopment to be put back another year, to 2009. More delays, mostly attributed to the ongoing financial crisis, meant that by mid-2011 the stadium redevelopment had yet to begin. In June 2011, Bristol Rovers announced its intentions to relocate the club to the newly proposed UWE Stadium instead of redeveloping the Memorial Stadium. In order to fund the new stadium, the MEM is to be sold to supermarket chain Sainsbury's. Planning permission was granted for the UWE Stadium site in July 2012 and the Sainsbury's plans for the Memorial Stadium in January 2013. Work is expected to begin on the UWE Stadium in the second half of 2014 after multiple delays caused by legal challenges. During construction, the Memorial Stadium will continue to be used during this time with work to redevelop the site not beginning until Rovers complete their move to the new stadium. Average attendances. References. External links: Memorial Stadium official website, Bristol Rovers official website, The Memorial Ground, FLICKR Group photographic record of the Memorial Stadium, Bristol Football Club, Dave Fox and Mark Hoskins, 2 vols, Tempest Publishing, Bristol Rovers, The Definitive History 1883 2003, Stephen Byrne and Mike J., Tempest Publishing.